We are back. You asked for it. We did all the dirty work. We dug through the sheets and sheets of data to bring you guys what wheels fit your Honda Civic. Now, we're not going to cover every year of Honda Civic because, my God, there are 10 generations of that car, and that is just too much information about a Honda Civic for one person to comprehend. So what we're going to do is go through the 9th and 10th generation Civic. So you're looking at 2012 to 2017 and above. So starting with the 9th gen Civic, with years ranging from 2012 to 2015, we're seeing a standard fitment range of diameters of 15 to 20 inches, widths from 6 to 8 inches, and offsets ranging from 35 to plus 50. Now, like we always say, this is the guaranteed fitment range, but this is Fitment Industries, and we don't settle for standard because we're leading the fitment revolution, and we can't do that if we settle for standard. So buckle up, because here comes a Red Bull-induced amount of information about Honda Civics. But before we begin, just a little disclaimer that depending on the type of suspension you have in your car and the size tire that you're going to run, that your fitment might vary a little bit from what I'm about to say. And also note that a lot of these cars that I'm going to say the fitment for have their fenders at least rolled for the most part, and sometimes pulled. Not all of them, but most of them do. For the most part, people running a 17-inch diameter wheel are running either a 17x8 or a 17x9. Now, these are not the only sizes that people are running. I'm just saying that from our data, it is the most that we've seen. You know, we have your 17x8.5s, you have your 17x9.5s even, but the 17x8 and 17x9 are the most common sizes for the 17-inch wheels. With a 17x8 wheel on these year Honda Civics, you can get a flush or near flush setup running offsets from plus 45 to plus 35. As soon as you start to get below that plus 35 offset is when you start to see fender liners ripped out, fenders being rolled, fenders being pulled, and that wheel poke to start to happen just a little bit. And if you're wanting to go with a tuck setup with a 17x8, you're looking at offsets right around plus 40 and above, so plus 40 to plus 45 will be that range to get that tux fitment on there. And when we go to a 17x9, just know at the very minimum you're going to have to roll your fenders on your car. With a 35 offset on a 17x9, you are right on that edge of flush and poke fitment. Right around this point is when we people starting to adjust their camber to pull that top in just a little bit to give themselves a little more room. So we start to see camber adjustment right around that plus 35 mark, plus 32. That's when people start to really kind of tuck that top into the wheel well. Anything with an offset below plus 35 with a 17x9, fender rolling and pulling is a must. That's just how it goes. And again, camber adjustment will most likely be needed. We do see people running a plus 25 and a plus 22 offset with a 17x9, but they are running a good amount of camber, and of course they have extensive fender modifications. Now again, these are the sizes that we are seeing most of in our gallery. So does that mean you're maxed out at a 17x9 plus 35? Absolutely not. We have people out there running a 17x9.5 plus 15 on their Honda Civic. So is it possible? Yes. Would I recommend it? Well, I'm just here to say that you can if you want to. For the earlier years of the 9th generation Civic, like the 2012s, we see a lot more people running a 17-inch wheel versus an 18-inch wheel. But if you're one of those people who want to rock an 18-inch wheel on your Honda Civic, then here we go. With an 18-inch wheel, you're going to either have to deal with rubbing or rolling your fenders. That's just how it is. I'm sorry, but that's how the cookie crumbles, as Alex says, but that's how it goes. For 18-inch wheels, we're looking at widths of 8 and 9.5 inches being the most common. With the introduction of the 9.5-inch wheels in the 18-inch diameter, a plus 40 offset will get you a nearly flush fitment instead of the plus 35 with these 17x9s. So anything lower than a plus 35 offset on an 18-inch wheel, you will start to see poke, and the lower you go, you will start seeing more extensive fender modifications being done to your car. So you can run an 18x9.5 plus 10 as a tucked fitment, but you're going to have more aftermarket suspension components to really dial in that camber to get that fitment. But Giles, what about 19-inch wheels? Yes, 19x8 plus 40. Next. As we move on down the line in years with the 9th generation, we start to see more and more people pull away from that 17-inch wheel and start to go with an 18-inch wheel. And people started to get just more aggressive with their fitment. The 18x9.5 plus 35 has become the standard. But how about an 18x10.5 minus 15? Actually, yeah. But you know the drill. So next we move on to the 10th generation of Honda Civic, which is going to be anything from 2016 and above. And the standard fitment guide for that is going to be generally the same as the 9th generations. We're going to see 15 to 20-inch wheel diameters, 6 to 8.5-inch widths, and 35 to 50 offset. As we get into the 10th generation Civic, we see a lot of similarities between the end of the 9th generation as far as what people are running for wheels. We see, again, people moving away from the 17-inch wheel, preferring the 18-inch wheel, and running running wider widths. 9 and 9.5 have become the standard replacement for the 8 and 8.5 inch widths. We still see them, people do run them, they're just not as common. So for 17-inch wheels, we're going to be looking at the similar sizes as the previous generation again, 17 by 8 plus 40, 17 by 9 plus 35, and so on. With the 18-inch wheels for this generation, we see a lot more people going with wider widths and lower offsets. We see people running mostly an 18 by 8.5 to an 18 by 9.5. So starting off with an 18 by 8.5 inch wheel, we're looking at a plus 40 to a plus 35 offset that will give you that flush look without having to modify your fenders. Anything lower than a plus 35, again, you'll have to start pulling fenders, ripping fender liners out. Yeah. And as far as 18 by 9.5 goes, plus 38 and plus 35 are going to be your most common sizes that are out there. Now, if you're looking at running larger sizes like 19-inch wheels or like 10-inch wide wheels, here we go. We do see people running 18 by 10s with lower offsets around plus 21, and even a 19 by 11 plus 30. From what we have seen, we've noticed that most people running these larger sizes wheels have strayed away from coilovers and lowering springs and have opted out for air suspension, well, for obvious reasons. And on the topic of suspension, we see most people running either DT Racing lowering springs, Eibach lowering springs, Skunk 2 coilovers, and yeah, that's basically it. As far as wheels go in terms of brand or style, we see a lot of people running like Enkei RPF1s or NKT6Ss or anything from ESR or anything from XXR or anything from Avid 1. I mean, there's just so many different wheels for these cars out there that fit within these fitment ranges. And if you're interested in seeing what those wheels look like, or if you're interested to see what other people are running on their Honda Civics, head on over to our gallery at www.fitmentindustries.com, and there you can check out hundreds of different Honda Civics and see what they're running. You can even punch in your year, make, and model, and even wheel specs if you've got something in particular that you want to run, and see what it looks like on your car. And then while you're there, make sure to check out some wheels, tires, and suspension, now that you know what fits on your car. But I'm Giles from Fitment Industries. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace.